Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. Round 5 of the Taco Tuesday series in the Pro category takes us to Silverstone in the North Hampshire countryside of England. Tom Kenshaw, commentator, and I'll be with you for the next hour and a half to go through everything that's happening during the course of the action that is lined up. Currently in practice, but after practice is done, it's 15 minutes of qualifying with a 60-minute race to follow. In terms of what happened last week, it was a convincing victory for Nikola Busov, becoming the 4th different winner from the first 4 races of the season, proving how competitive the championship is at the top tier of Taco Tuesday. But at the top, it is Sean Cole, who carried on with his consistency by finishing 2nd, and so he has a 10-point lead at the top of the championship over 2nd place Ahmed Al-Douri, both of which driving for Mercedes. And Mercedes team are leading the way quite convincingly over Audi, their nearest challengers. 34 points is the gap at the top of that respective table. We are at the halfway point in the season at Silverstone. We look to see some more action. We are expecting 27 drivers to be in the lobby, including 2 reserves, including Craig Law and Moggs. 2 reserve drivers have checked in for tonight. Joined yet, as far as I know. Let's have a look and see if they have arrived in. They haven't yet, so there's still time before qualifying begins for them to make their way into the lobby. So far in this practice session, it's been a mixed conditioned session with rain that has been pouring for the last 10 to 15 minutes. It is expected to dry up within the next 15, although it may not dry enough for any lap times to be improved. Waiting for some more to join the lobby any moment. Well, we can say that Josh Clayton has joined the lobby now. Waiting on 4 more to join. In terms of the full-time drivers that are not around for tonight, let's have a look at the check-in. So Tom Fagan is not around. Ray Thomas is also not around either. Minutes to go in the session. In terms of what time the race begins, well, that begins at 4 PM track time. Multiplier is by 2, so from what would be around 4 PM for the start of the race, we'll finish at around 6 for the checker flag, so it should still be daylight when the race is over. Silverstone first opened in 1948. Hosted the first ever World Championship Grand Prix event for Formula 1 in 1950. Of course, it was Queen Elizabeth II, as she was known back then. No, that was before her coronation, actually, thinking of it. It was Elizabeth II, anyhow. There to attend that very day. Silverstone used to alternate with Brands Hatch as host of the British Grand Prix in the late 70s and early 80s. It's played host of the British Grand Prix every year since 1987. Currently under contract to host Formula 1 until the end of 2024. No news as of yet in terms of whether there will be a contract renewal. Find out in due course anyway, whether that'll be this year or maybe in the week of next year's race, who knows? Other than Formula 1, it's played host to many of the other top series, including MotoGP, British Touring Cars, British Superbikes, CR UK. I think I've raced at Silverstone this year, unless I'm mistaken. It's also played host in the past to the World Endurance Championship, the 4 hours of Silverstone, W Series last year and the year before, the FIM Endurance World Championship back in 2002. The other top series that of course plays host to Formula 2 and Formula 3 as well. They'll be going to Silverstone on the weekend of the British Grand Prix this year, as they so often do. Silverstone has had a lot of different configurations over the years. The current one that we have is 5.891 kilometres. That's been around since 2011. That was of course the new pits complex, which is just where the Hamilton Straight is after Club. It's had many different configurations over the years before then. I do miss the old Bridge and Priory sections of the circuit. It's the fast right-hander of Stowe. Nigel Mansell pulled off that incredible overtake on Nelson Piquet in the closing stages of that 1987 race. She would go on to win, but not the championship unfortunately that year. Either way, it's a historical circuit. It's a circuit that the drivers love. It's a circuit that the fans love going to. Considering it's in the countryside, it may not be the best in terms of going there when it's raining. Those who are old enough to remember, the 2000 British Grand Prix was moved to the month of April, so earlier in the year than they would normally host it, and it proved to be a nightmare for the fans getting in and out of the venue. Want to find out more, you can have a look on YouTube to find out what exactly happened during that weekend. Not that it affected the racing, of course. The drivers were still able to compete that weekend. So it's a similar circumstances to what happened at Donington when it hosted the European Grand Prix in 1993. Perhaps April's not the best time in the year for Formula 1 to be going racing in the UK. It's not the worst time either. You know, we may get some good warm weather in April, but not always. Not anything like you would see in Central Europe. Well, Hutchison's in 14th place at the moment, 1.7 seconds off the pace to Niels van Lyck in the number 14 BMW. Kamil Makowski's second, less than a tenth adrift. So Smallhan's in third position, Nikola Busov fourth, last week's winner at Snetterton. Ron Cole finished second, and Armin Eldori was promoted to third after MGK picked up a penalty for whatever reason. Not sure what that was for, but it might have been for a collision perhaps at the start of the race. It was carnage at the start, so that might have something to do with it. If anyone knows more about that, then feel free to let me know about it. Tell you that there are 24 in the lobby now. Moggs has just joined, so hopefully he'll be going out there to get some laps in, and he is just leaving the pits now, so he's got 6 minutes to get a few laps in. So we're watching him. We'll want to go with Will Freeman, who can take us on a lap of this Silverstone track. I just want to get the telemetry up. Freeman, I know he's just gone through turn 1, hasn't he? We'll go with Hutchison actually. He's through turn 1, third gear, 150 kilometres an hour, runs wide at Copse Corner, I should say. And into the winding sweepers of Maggots. shift down, he's gone straight on. He was completely out of shape, and that's that lap done. So we may as well come away from Hodgson. We'll go on board with Freeman though, who's coming towards Stone now. On the brakes, down to second gear for Stoke Corner, puts his car to the right for the apex. Get a tidy exit. Now into Vale. 75 kilometres an hour before he applies the throttle and into Club. And now he's using all the curve on the outside to help him get the best exit possible. He's onto the Hamilton straight. This is where the pit straight would be for Formula 1, but the pit straight for Assetto Corsa Competizione is on the pit straight, and we have just suffered some connection issues, unfortunately. So I'm just going to take a moment to get back into the server. So bear with me one moment, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Apologies for the difficulties there. We had a connection issue, but that seems to be rectified. I think it's just, I think it's the same for the other drivers actually. So a practice session is being put back together. 10 minutes it is, so at least gives all the drivers an opportunity to get some laps in before qualifying DARs begin. Watch Josh Clayton go out onto the circuit, so at least we can stay with him for now. It's raining out there, so may prove a little tricky for the drivers as they tackle this 5.8 kilometre racetrack of Silverstone. Being an hour, I would expect the number of laps to be 30, I would say, maybe 29, depending on how quick they are. Have just joined us, we do welcome you. Feel free to get involved in the live chat, and feel free to look at the YouTube description of all the different championships that the Formula Racing League has to offer. There's a Discord group, there's a Facebook and Instagram pages as well for you to keep right up to date with everything that is happening. Let us know who you're rooting for as well. Mentioned we should be expecting 27 drivers, including 2 reserves. Well, we've got 21 in the lobby at the moment. To come down. long before qualifying commences. So I've already mentioned Nikola Busov won out in Snetterton last week, but it's Sean Cole who continues to lead the way in the standings, 10 points clear over second place Ahmed Aldori, with Melvin Crowes 26 off the top. It's Nikola Busov and Mauro Senio tied for 4th position with 114 points each. Four in the lobby now, which is good. So let's go on board with Josh, who's going to take us hopefully through the remainder of this Silverstone circuit as he approaches Stowe Corner. How does he tackle this one? Puts his car to the right. 125 kilometres an hour before he applies the throttle in 3rd gear. Now he approaches Vale, puts his car to the outside where the black and white curb is, so he can take the neatest line possible through Club Corner. Now entering the Hamilton straight. Lift off the throttle there, was too tight of a line through that particular bend. That's Isabi. How does he approach this one? He lifts off the throttle down to 3rd gear, 160 kilometers an hour. Through farm, no problem. Positions his car nice and carefully. Brakes in the straight line for Village. This is the loop that he's going through now, down to 1st gear. Now he's onto the Wellington straight, the back straight, or one of 2 back straights. Put it in the context. And into Brooklands. 2nd gear, 95 kilometers an hour before you apply the throttle once more. And into the final proper corner of the lap. That is Luffield, and then it's the kink of Woodcote, which takes you to the line, and that completes the lap of Silverstone on this layout that the drivers are using. It's the same layout, but the pit straight is where it used to be for Formula 1 many years ago. Hutchison is out on circuit. Since that we are round 5 of the championship now. We've done Laguna Seca, we've done Suzuka, we've done Hungaroring, we've done Snetterton. It's Silverstone tonight. The remaining rounds see us go to Bathurst, which will be the 2nd of the 90-minute specials, before we head to Nürburgring, Misano and Zandvoort, before the season concludes in Kyalami on June the 20th, and that will also be a 90-minute special that could decide the championship that evening. Posting a 2 minute 7.9. The fastest we saw was a low 1 minute 59. I think Nils van Lyck was the man who posted the fastest. Seems to have 27 drivers in, which is good news. Smallhand goes to the top, 2 minute 7.1. Lewis Robinson's just informed me that if the server crashes during the race, the red flag will be thrown and race will be restarted with the grid order as at the time of the red flag, which I think is only the sensible option. I don't know how it will affect those who have already retired from the race. I'll assume that they won't be allowed to take back the start. They had connection issues, of course. (17 degrees air temperature, 21 degrees track temperature. 5 minutes to go in practice before qualifying begins. Whilst the drivers will be thinking carefully about what size to start the race on here in relation to the weather, it's looking pretty grim over in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, where Imola is playing host to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix this weekend. Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3 and the Porsche Super Cup are all expected to be racing there this weekend, but it's just a matter of whether it will actually happen or not, as F1 team personnel have been told to evacuate due to the risk of flooding within the area. Smallhand's still fastest. I'm just looking to see Lewis Robinson because he's just gone through the loop and through Aintree now. He's had a reasonable season as Lewis. He's currently lying 6th in the championship on 96 points. He missed the first race of the season, but has picked up 3 5th places since then. It's nice to see him do well. Coming over the line now. Is this going to be the fastest time of this particular practice session? It's not. It's a 2 minute 8.3. He'll want to be going again as Demian van der Waal is coming around in the 433 Audi. He had a race to forget in Snetterton last week, got caught up in other people's incidents, and that put him out of the action effectively compared to the rest. He's gone over the line, and it's not a time, but he'll have time to go around and complete a lap. Will Freeman, who won't have time to do another lap after this one, so this is his opportunity to get a lap time on the board for this particular 10-minute practice session. A lot of the drivers will just be ready to get going for qualifying, if I'm honest with you. And the checker flag has fallen. Is it going to be maybe 2 minute 7s with this lap? It's not, I don't think. I don't even think it was I don't think it was a valid lap either. Oh no, he did go to the top. It was a 2 minute 6.7. My apologies. And Stuart Hutchinson's gone to P2 as well. Got the 34 coming round, I believe. Just looking on the track map. That is Varkov Papizel. And he's going back into the pits. And 23 is on circuit, as well as the number 433. MGK losing his podium last week after a post-race penalty by the stewards. So MGK comes back in. 433 Demian van der Waal towards Brooklands. Just going to put Van der Waal. Is he maybe going to go up the order or get a time on the board at least? It doesn't matter anyway, because qualifying is beginning now. 15 minutes of running is about to commence. So we've got the 702 as the first driver going on track. That is Kobe Alerts, otherwise known as Fighter. Should be seeing all the cars heading out straight away, if I'm honest with you. It is a dry track. 2 PM it is track time over there. Race start will be 4 PM multiplied by 2. So after the 1 hour it'll be like 6 PM around about when the checker flag falls. Know who the race winner is from tonight. Seeing a few more cars out on track now. We are seeing not many stuck in the pits. Fighter on track, he's on his outlap at the moment, so he's not quite pushing at this stage. Got 3 cars in the pits. At 4 because the number 20's just gone back in, which I believe is Moggs. Fighter is coming round to start a lap now. So through Stowe corner, no problem. Back hits, no problem, and through Chapel. This is the hanger straight. He's going down. To Stowe corner that he's heading through. Where will Fighter end up by the end of this qualifying session? Which is sector 2. Don't know for certain what time he's doing at the moment. How he's getting on with this lap, it doesn't look too shabby. To Luffield, shortly be approaching the line. Expected to be below 2 minutes with this one, given it is dry conditions. So Fighter's time is good enough for 1:59.8, but I would expect the 1:74 to maybe beat that. So it's a time that's not valid on this occasion. Aldori goes top though, 1:59.7. How are the others getting on? Andy Craven, slowest of them all, but it's Nils who goes to the top. And it's Fireblade down to 5th place. Ahmed Aldori who's at 2nd place. So Fighter down to P3. And from what I've been told from Damien van der Waal, he's saying that he is on a quali ban, which is interesting. Rui went 2nd for a moment, but it's Craig Law goes to the front row. Just 5 thousandths of a second behind the provisional pole sitter Nils van Lyck. Hutchison 5th, Anderson 7th at the moment. Busov, last week's race winner, is 8th. Ben Milden goes to the top. So Ben Milden in the number 5 Mercedes AMG has gone to the top spot by less than half a tenth of a second. And Clayton has gone 12th with his latest lap. Still got a number of drivers yet to post times. This is Jason Sargent coming through in the number 7 BMW. What's this time going to be? I'm not sure if this is going to look very quick, if I'm honest with you. He goes 10th fastest, a second away from pole, nearly. Freeman only 19th, the slowest of those who have set a lap time so far. This is Moggs. Won a race in Taco Tuesday in the top tier last season. Number 20 Ferrari goes over the line, and it's not enough to get a time on the board on this occasion. He must have exceeded track limit somewhere. McCoskey's coming through though, and yeah, he's gone well wide actually, hasn't he? And he's not got a lap time still yet. Morex goes 4th fastest. Brilliant lap time from him. Small hand, what can he do? He's taking a very tight line. I wonder if he's exceeded track limits there. Seemingly not. He goes 4th fastest. Does the number 420 Porsche. But at the moment, it's Fighter who's on top. Hutchinson's gone up to P2 now in the number 22 BMW. It's MGK 3rd. Aldori 4th, albeit for a moment, because Craig Law has gone fastest in the number 226 Mercedes AMG. Over a 10th quicker because Nikola Busov has gone up to 2nd place. The track is picking up. Milden's 4th at the moment. Sean Cool only 8th. He's just gone over the line. Lap times are very close. Very close indeed. Got the number 500 of Clayton coming round. It's an improvement in time, but not an improvement in position. Stays in P19. 246 is coming round the pit straight now. That is Paul Trotman. I'm not sure if he actually improved that time. His time from before, I should say. Farclub Papisel, the slowest of all those that have set a lap time so far, in P23. 3.3 seconds off the pace. Can he improve with this lap? He does improve his time, but not in position. And the number 14 has gone over the line also. That is Nils. He's only in P11. Marks is coming around to get his first time on the board. He takes a shorter run to the line. It goes 21st fastest. That pushes Robinson down to 22nd. He's not having a good session so far. He's got some work to do from where he is currently. Mikowski's moved up the order. And he's gone up to... Where has he gone up, Mikowski? He's gone up to 10th place now. Sean Cole's down to 9th position. Because Morex is up there in P3 in the 99 Audi. So far, with 6.5 minutes to go, it's Craig Law who's setting the pace. Busov is coming round to complete his latest lap. Is this going to be an improvement from before? It is not. Stays where he is. Ben Milden coming round in the number 5 Mercedes AMG. Looking to see if there's anyone else improving their times. Milden goes 2nd. A 10th off the pace, but he's moved up. Looking to see who else is coming through. I want to see how Robinson's getting on, because he's going through Loffield now. He's got the number 500 ahead of him. Of Josh Clayton, who doesn't improve. Robinson only 23rd. He doesn't move up the order, I don't think. Trotman pushes Robinson down the order, so he's swapped places with the 336 Porsche. Robinson down to 24th now. Barclub Pavisel in need of a good qualifying session. Number 34 Audi approaching the line, improves his time but only by a couple of tenths, stays in 25th. We just saw an improvement from the number 14 that's improved. Nils has gone up to 6th position in the number 14 BMW. 226 heading over the line also. That is Craig Law. Doesn't improve his time, but he's still fastest of all. 174 of Mikowski's gone up to 9th place. Aldari was down to 10th place before he was able to displace Mikowski. Aldari up to 8th now. Up to 8th and improving. Andy only 20th at the moment. Got the 911 of Rui coming round. Fernando Ferreira looking to move up the order with this lap. Doesn't do it. P13 is still. Busov crosses over the line. He's still 3rd. Doesn't improve on that effort he's just done. Got the 444 of Sean Cool, the championship leader. He may be less than 4 tenths behind, but he is in P11. And this one is not an improvement. Josh Clayton coming round. Is he on an improvement with his latest lap. Next behind him is Smallhand. It's not an improvement there for Josh. Smallhand, does he go up the order? He doesn't either. 4-6 coming back into the pit, so we'll go to Ben Milden. He's coming round left field. And 3 Woodcote now. It's going to be pole position for Milden on this occasion. Not with this lap. Moggs is coming through as well. He's moved up a position, I believe. He's in 22nd. Robinson is in 24th still. He's not quite finding the time he needs. Adam Anderson in the 888 Porsche. 1.3 seconds off the pace, and he does not reduce the deficit. Fighter now. Can alerts move up? No, he can't. Go to the number 57 with Fireblade, who's having a good session so far. He kept his car clean throughout the whole of last week. And he's still 18th thus far. 99 coming through now. That is Morex, who's 2/10 off pole. Is this an improvement? No, it is not. And it looks like Busov has gone second. That's a nice lap. Moves Milden down the order, but MGK has gone fastest of all. 158.6. That's going to give Craig Law the wake-up call he needs. Got the 152 of Blair coming through. I don't think he improved on his latest attempts. And we've got Jason Clayton. I keep saying he's Josh, but I don't know why I keep saying Josh. It's actually Jason Clayton, my apologies. He's improved his time, but not in position. Now we've got the number 5 of Ben Milden coming through Luffield now. He'll be aware of MGK's attempts. If he doesn't improve this one, he's got one more go at it before the checker flag falls. Doesn't improve his time. 34 for Bizzle, hoping to improve and move up the order. And he's moved up the order to 22nd, so that pushes Robinson down to 25th. I have to say, less than 6/10 covering the top 12, which is amazing. Fighter, no improvement on that lap. 174 is next, which is Mikovsky. He doesn't improve either. We've got the number 16 coming through of Andy Craven. 1.9 seconds off the pace. Can he reduce it? He can, but only by a 10th. It's MGK who's still fastest. And he's just coming through the last turn. In a moment, he'll get over the line before the checker flag. 10 seconds to go. MGK improves his time by a little bit. And he's strengthened his grip on pole position so far. Nils has got up to second place with his latest lap. He's able to do another one. So the checker flag is out. And Sean Cole's gone to 11th. He improved on his latest attempt, but he's not made it into the top 10. 420 of Smallhand coming through. Can he push Cull back down the order? He can. He goes up to 9th. So Smallhand goes up into the top 10. Cull down to 12th place. Number of drivers are in the pits at the moment as Fireblade has done his bit for this session. Milden is coming through now. He's in P6. And he goes up to 5th ahead of Busov. Next is the 34 of Farcloth for Bizzle. And his latest attempt has moved him up to 19. That's a nice lap from Pavizzle. And Robinson is in 22nd place and he's done his last attempt. Only 23rd for Lewis Robinson. Didn't expect that. The 702 of Fighter coming through next. He goes P7 ahead of Morex. Got the 22 coming round now as well, which is Stuart Hutchinson. And he does not improve his time, so he stays in 10th place. Number 16 coming through, which is Craven. He does not move up the order either. Aldori stopped on track. Moritz is coming around to complete his last attempt. Here we go then. Can Moritz move up the grid here with this final shot here? He goes to pole! Moritz has done it! 158.5, a 10th clear of Melvin Crows. Excellent, excellent final attempt. What can Niels do though? Can he take it away? Not quite. No improvement. Third on the grid it'll be for him. So right at the end, it is Mario Arsenio who takes pole here at Silverstone in the pro category of Taco Tuesday in the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. What a brilliant final attempt. Left it right at the death. MGK will be on the front row alongside him with Niels van Light third and Craig Law, the highest of the reserve drivers, in fourth. Then it's Bruno Canavera in a strong fifth, ahead of Ben Milden in sixth place. Nikola Busov, last week's winner at Snetterton, is 7th, ahead of Fighter in 8th. Smallhand and Stuart Hutchinson running out the top 10. It's Armin Aldori and Sean Cole, the top two in the championship, line up next to each other on the 6th row. Kamil Mikowski's 13th on the grid, ahead of Fernando Ferreira in 14th. It's Moggs and Will Freeman on the 8th row in 15th and 16th places. Viablade will be happy with 17th. He'll be alongside Adam Anderson. Jason Sargent is 19th with Farglove Pafisel in 20th. And on the 10th row, Cameron Blair and Andy Craven are on row 11. Lewis Robinson will be in a disappointing 23rd place. He's got a lot of work to do. And Jason, is it Jason Clayton or is it Josh Clayton? It's Josh Clayton, my apologies. I keep getting mixed up between him and Jason Sargent. But it's Josh Clayton in 24th place, ahead of Paul Trotman in 25th. He's the last driver of those to have set a time. Damien van der Waal and Icedude, I believe those two had been serving qualifying bans through because of their incidents involved in the last race at Snetterton 7 days ago. Brilliant qualifying session. I think it's about to get better in the race very shortly. That was an excellent final lap from Moritz. He'll be absolutely delighted with that. And exactly what he needed as well. 4th place at Laguna Seca, 4th place at Suzuka, 10th at the Hungaroring, 9th at Snetterton. He didn't have a good couple of races, to be honest with you, in the last 2 rounds, but I think the pole position here will put him right back on track, and he needs a strong result here, does Arsenio, to keep his championship hopes alive. Aldori and Cull down the order on the grid in 11th and 12th. He's got a real opportunity to reduce the arrears between him and the top two. Waiting for the cars to make their way back onto the grid. Rain is coming down. Expect the rain to stay for the next 15 minutes at least. So the track is greasy. It's going to make it quite a challenge for the drivers at the start, especially. Start getting in each other's way and sliding coming out of the corners, and that could cause all sorts of trouble. Less than 3 minutes to go, so there is time for me to answer some questions. If you can just send them in, and I'll be willing to answer them for you. Seen some news as well of a new circuit that's been built over in Hungary called Ballaston Park, of which are working towards FIA Grade 1 standards. I think it currently holds an FIA Grade 2 license, but I think they're trying to upgrade it to FIA Grade 1. That'd be a potential venue for the future of Formula 1 and for a lot of the other series. It's certainly looking to host some international series from next year. Whether Formula 1 will decide to go there in the near future Well, I think that's another question, isn't it? But my worry is that Formula 1 already has a Grand Prix in Hungary, so maybe if they could stage it as a European Grand Prix, I suppose, could that be the solution? I don't even know who holds the legal rights for the stage name of the European Grand Prix in motorsport, for the sake of Formula 1. Someone to fill me in on. In terms of the number of laps, I would probably say we're leaning more towards 29 laps here at Snetterton, possibly 28. Moritz will be focusing on keeping himself out of trouble at the start. MGK will be thinking the same. It's a narrow race. As the cars go on to their formation lap, will run down on the grid. In case any of you have just joined.
This is the epic outline of Silverstone, opened in 1948, changed from time to time over the years, but still the essence of its place is that it's a circuit built on a...
Take note if there's any drivers deciding to start from the pit lane. There's none at the moment, but they may decide to do that at the last minute or whilst the formation lap is going on. Moritz will lead the field off the grid right now, hoping for important victory. Go through Stowe corner now. So it's Moritz in pole with MGK alongside, and it's Nils and Law on row 2. Bruno Canavera and Ben Milden are on row 3. Nikola Busov and Kobe Alerts on the 4th row. Smallhand and Stuart Hutchison round out the top 10. Then it's the top 2 in the championship, Ahmed Aldori and Sean Cole, lining up next to each other on row 6, with Cameron Mikowski and Fernando Ferreira on the 7th row. Moggs and Will Freeman are on row 8, then it's Fireblade and Adam Anderson on the 9th row. Jason Sargent and Father Papizzle on 19th and 20th on row 10. Cameron Blair and Andy Craven are on row 11, followed by Lewis Robinson and Josh Clayton on row 12. Paul Trotman and Demon van der Wal are on the 13th row of the grid, and in 27th and last place is Ice Dude. Now, I don't know whether there will be an increase in terms of the number of cars being allowed to race in the same event. It certainly helped the Formula Racing League, because it would reduce a tier from what is currently 3. If we get maybe 40 cars in a server, then that would obviously reduce it down to 2 tiers and make it more competitive for the drivers who are competing. I'm sure that would be favourable for the FRL, but it's totally out of their hands. I don't know if that's part of the developers' plans for Assetto Corsa. I don't know for sure whether Assetto Corsa 2 is going to be released either next year or whenever that may be. Hopefully find out in due course. This is the 9th season of Taco Tuesday. When it all started would have been at the beginning of 2021. It's been around for a while, this particular championship. Morris is coming through. Going to go for the start of this one. We've just gone past 4 PM for the race start at Silverstone. We're looking to finish at around about 6. It's multiplied by 2 is the time elapsed in. So we'll be looking to pull clear at the lights. Get caught up in any first lap mayhem here. Drivers will be going into their rows of 2 right now. Won't be long until we get going. Luffield now. The track is greasy, so it may be a little tricky at the start for the drivers. We don't know for certain whether it will dry out yet. Find out soon enough as the race thickens. I'm sure the drivers will be thinking carefully in terms of when to pit. They do have to make their mandatory stop. They have to change tyres. They don't have to refuel, of course. We were just ready for the start of this one right about now for round 5 of the championship in Taco Tuesday, and Morex seems to be in good shape as they go through Stowe Corner. So Morex leads. It's MGK ahead of Niels van Light. We're just watching Ben Milden run wide at Stowe Corner and is rejoined back onto the circuit. And there seems to be an incident at the back. I don't know who that is. I think the number 20 of Moggs has gone off the track. We've got the 336 also involved. That's Lewis Robinson. He's been caught up in some first lap mayhem, but he's got going again. But it's right at the back for him, unfortunately. We'll go back to the front because Morex is continuing to lead out in front. So we look at the helicopter view, and it's Craig. Is it Craig Logg who's moved up to second place? No, it's MGK who's still there in second. Then it's Bruno third. Niels is down to 4th place. And now we're watching Nikola Busov. He's got a car alongside there. I think that's Fighter who's coming through the pack. Absolutely flying his Fighter. He's looking to the outside of Craig Law. Can't make the move stick, unfortunately, as they go through Club. And now the cars are dicing for position as they come onto the Hamilton straight. But Fighter is looking to continue his pursuit of Craig Law. He's up into 7th position now. What is he looking to do here? Right on board with Kobe alerts as they approach Village and the loop. Can't quite make the move stick as they go through sector 2 now. I can tell you, once the sector times do update, I can tell you that Ahmed Aldo and Sean Cole are up 2 positions each. They're up to 9th and 10th. It's Moritz who still leads ahead of MGK, and it's Bruno Canavera in 3rd position. Pit window is open, so the drivers can make their mandatory stops as soon as they want, but they'll be carefully thinking about the weather as to when the time is right, because you do lose a lot of time coming into the pits to change tyres. I think Moggs has gone for another spin somewhere around the lap, and I think Will Freeman has dropped back also. He has had a terrible start. So both Will Freeman and Lewis Robinson have left themselves with too much to do already. It's Moritz who leads to get 40 championship points for a win, and ideally 2 points for the fastest lap. As we watch Ben Milden looking to make a move on Niels van Light as they approach Stowe Corner. Milden on the inside of the Dutchman as they go into Stowe Corner. Niels had to see him coming, he had to leave room, and now he's having to compromise his line on the exit as they go through Vale. And Milden looking to the inside. This could be a brilliant overtake from Ben Milden, but he's gone in too deep. Through the gravel track, they come back on. Almost reminiscent of Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc in last year's British Grand Prix, but both of them have got away with it. And it looks like Craig Law is looking to the outside of Milden as they go onto the pit straight. Not for today's race, but certainly the pit straight for a lot of the other championships in real life. Craig Law has to settle in behind Milden, but it was very close for Ben Milden, getting into 4th place and nearly losing 5th to the hard-charging 226 Mercedes AMG of Craig Law. And now as we watch the battle for the lead, and this is Melvin Crowe's looking for a move on Mario Arsenio in the battle for the lead as they go onto the Wellington Straight and coming towards Brooklands. And see the Portuguese driver slowing down ahead of the Dutchman as they go through the final sector of the lap. Bruno Canavero is keeping himself in there in third place. He's happy to just sit back and watch everything unfolding out in front. He's already 2.5 seconds clear over fourth place Niels Van Lijk, but that's because of Van Lijk's battle with Milden earlier on in the lap. 2 laps done then, and it's Morex is still in the lead, but MGK is right on his tail at this stage of the race. I can tell you that Niels Van Lijk has dropped back and he's down horribly. He's lost so many positions during the final sector of the lap, and we are seeing a number of drivers coming into the pits. Who would that be? Well, I can say that Moggs is just pitted, and Jason Sargent and Josh Clayton have come in for their mandatory stops, as has Ben Milden. So Ben Milden is in. Now, I don't know if his pit stop damage on his car or whether he's just wanting to get his mandatory pit stop done and out of the way right now. MGK with the fast up of the race so far. Law is up there in 4th place then. It's Aldori 6th. And Sean Cole in P7, taking it very nicely, as is last week's race winner, Nikola Busov. Stuart Hudson is 9th, with Fernando Ferreira in 10th place. Now the 420 of Smallhand. That is Blakely Townsend from the United States. And you can see Damien van der Waal, who's come through the field very nicely, in fact. He's got in front of Smallhand, actually. He's moved up into 11th position. He's had a cracker of the start. He's kept himself out of trouble already. Brilliant effort from the Dutchman. We want to look at the battle for the lead again, because MGK is right in the wheel tracks of Moritz in front. The pair of them run wide. They need to be careful with chat limits, and a stop and go penalty has been given to Jason Sargent, unfortunately, so that'll be him coming back into the pits within the next 3 laps, and he could well be down a lap. And we've got a spin also from the 226, and that's Craig Law who's spun, and he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall as Craig Law on the Wellington Straight. He'll be in the pits, so he's got to be careful, and he nearly took out what looked like the 246 of Cameron Blair by the looks of it. So yeah, Cameron Blair had to dodge round Craig Law. That was a little bit of a dangerous rejoin from Craig. And Cameron Blair had to take evasive action almost. I can imagine Craig will be in the pits to get his repairs done. He may as well do it to get his mandatory stop out of the way, but he's going to lose time in all that repair work needing to be done. Almost reminiscent of his maladies with back markers in the endurance swap race that happened on Friday night. I won't go into too much detail in terms of what happened with that. See MGK clawing over the back of Morex, and Bruno Canavera is fancying his chances in getting involved here. See the traffic cone on the circuit. See the leaders, and we are expecting the rain to get heavier within the next 15 minutes, so this is going to make it even harder for the drivers, but they'll soon adapt to it fine. Just need to keep the cars on the island. Go on board with MGK as they come out of Aintree. Tweaking Wipers doing its best to wipe away the water that's on the screen. Now the leaders will be carefully thinking about when to change tyres, because the rain will be getting heavier soon. Mark's doing his best to keep his Audi in the lead for now. MGK won't leave him alone. No reason for him to. Now on lap 5 of the race. So far so good from Morex. So Dory and Cool are closing in on Fighter. Fireblade is in 11th place now. He's got in front of Smallhand. Fireblade having a very good race so far as Nils comes in for his pit stop. T46 also in, that is Paul Trotman. And Jason Sargent's done his stop and go penalty now, so that's at least that sorted out. He's a lap down on most of the cars ahead, but they've still yet to stop. So he can at least get back on the lead lap. So 10 minutes into this race, a sixth of the way through. So we're probably looking at around 29 laps for this race. As we watch MGK closes in on the Audi in front. Go on board with the Ferraris. He looks to make a move here. To go to the outside as they approach. Brooklands takes a wider line on entry to make a move on the exit as they go through Luffield. This is great racing between the two, keeping it clean so far. MGK will be looking to get on the power a little earlier than the Audi. Come on to the old pit straight. Oh, and MGK getting a little out of shape so far, but got away with it. Was able to gather it up. Demi Van der Moel up to 9th place, having a brilliant race so far after starting 26th. Factoring in that some of the drivers have pitted in. At least Van der Moel has kept his car out of any shenanigans at the start. We'll go back to the battle for 4th place because Aldori's on the tail of Fighter. On the hanger straight. I think we are going to see a change in position very shortly. Aldori looks to the inside, and is this going to be a change of position on this occasion? Not quite so. Just a matter of time before Aldori makes his move, but he's got Sean Cull, his championship rival, looming in behind, waiting to pounce. And Cull nearly running into the rear of the Mercedes AMG. Now Aldori will be looking to make his way past the Ferrari ahead. He's dropped back a little bit, and that might open the door for Sean Cull to capitalise and make his way through. Bruno Cadavera is running in P3, Fighter in P4. It's Ahmed Aldori, Sean Cull, and it's Nikola Busov, who's a couple of seconds adrift off this trio, fighting for 4th position. Stuart Hodgson is 8th, having a respectable race so far. I can tell you that Will Freeman has got the points for the fastest up of the race so far, with I don't know what the lap time is, but it's certainly not going to be as quick as what it was in qualifying, given it is in wet conditions. Although having said that, Morris has got the fast lap also. They've both got exactly the same time, but I'll have a look and see who set that time first. But I'd imagine the fastest lap time is going to come down at some point. So we'll wait and see on that one. Lap 7 then, the top 3 unchanged. Aldori all over the back of Fighter, but not able to make a move. And we've got Fireblade running in P11 behind Fernando Ferreira. As they go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Fireblade very much on a charge here, doing very, very well. Looking at his previous results, Fireblade in the number 57, Mark Bagnall. In terms of the championship, had a 21st place at Laguna Seca, 22nd at Suzuka, 14th at the Hungaroring, and 13th in Snetterton. So he's done well in the last couple of rounds, despite a 10-point penalty for not turning up, either for, well, say not turning up, but it'll be for something he's being penalised for. That's for someone to fill me in on. But he looks to have kept his car on track so far, and on course, maybe even a top 10 finish if he keeps it up. Still no change at the front. MGK looming, trying to find every bit of traction, every bit of grip possible on the outside, but he's having to be wary of the Audi of Bruno all over the back of the Italian car's gearbox. Melvin Kroes from the Netherlands chasing Mario Arsenio from Portugal. But Melvin Kroes is in a Portuguese sandwich at the moment. Quarter of the way through. If Melvin Kroes wasn't to get past Mario Arsenio, he would still close down the gap in the championship. Will Freeman's up to 15th position now, ahead of Cameron Blair. Robinson's in 20th position, but he's back in the fray for good points hole. As I think that's Moggs is just getting out of the way as he's being lapped by the leaders. Leiter holding 4th position ahead of Aldori, who hasn't quite made his move yet. Sean Cole. I can say that MGK's dropped back and he's got Canavera going briefly side by side with him, and it looks like he's about to pull off a move on the Dutchman round the outside as they go towards Brooklands. Here's Bruno Canavera in the Audi, not able to pull off the move there, but he might get the exit he needs going into Luffield, but he had to lift off the throttle to avoid making contact. Cannot find a way through and he's dropped back. We'll go back to the battle for 4th position as Aldori hasn't found a way past the Ferrari fighter just yet. .7 seconds is the gap between Marks in the lead and MGK in 2nd place. Canavera still trying to make his way through at the moment. And Bravizel is in the pits for his Manju Salt as Canavera looks to give MGK a little bit of a fright going into Stowe. Still cannot find a way past, and Aldori is trying to find a way past Fighter for 4th place. On the inside for a moment, but he cannot find a way through. Even if the gap was there, it was just too risky to have a go. To the Hamilton straight they go. And Aldori right on the gearbox. This could be his opportunity to make a move here as they approach Village. Go for it there, and I can say that Bruno Canavera has got past MGK for 2nd. MGK up to P2 now, ahead of the Ferrari. It was bound to happen at some point after MGK dropped back from the leader. So it's Bruno Canavera making it a Portuguese 1 and 2. Van der Waals up to 7th place now ahead of Hutchinson. He's on a charge at the moment, although I think Busov has made a mistake somewhere, has fallen back from those two. So I think Van der Waals was already ahead of Hutchinson, but not ahead of Busov before the Croatian's error on this lap. Now Aldori right on the side. Oh, someone's off. That's MGK that spun at Woodcote. A bad error there from the Dutchman. He's dropped down to 6th place behind Sean Cole now. Not good for his championship. That moves Aldori, so fighter Aldori and Cole up to 3rd, 4th and 5th. But the order could change again. Aldori can just get the best of X6 coming out of Beckett's and through Chapel, but he can't quite do so on this occasion. Busov decided to go for the pits. As they go through Stowe. Fighter holding on for now. And Kull close in on Aldori. Van der Waals in P7. Fireblade is up to 10th place now. Robinson also taken to the pits, so Busov should rejoin in P18 behind Kamil Makovsky. Canavera's gap to Moritz was 2.8 in Sector 1. Has that come down in Sector 2? I doubt that will have done, if I'm honest with you. 3.2 is the gap, so Moritz is continuing to stretch out the margin. Now Dory's still in front of Cole. The race leader approaching the end of lap 10, over 21 minutes in. Looks like we've seen a few changes in position. Robinson's down to P20 after his stop now, but he's still not being lapped by the leader at the moment. So still in play for a reasonable result, although not as reasonable as he would have liked to have seen. His qualifying performance wasn't great. It was well towards the back. The track is beginning to get more and more damp at the moment. The rain is continuing to come down. Oh, and that's Cole going for the move, and Aldori has spun. Oh, and he's taken out MGK, I think, or is that a back mark? I couldn't quite tell. But he took out someone. Aldori rejoins, although that spin had seen him run into the back of someone. I think Sean Cole's letting him back through. Otherwise, Cole would have been penalised. But that has cost both drivers dear. It's good news for the likes of Moritz and Bruno Canavera for the championship, and maybe Kobe Alerts as well. It's certainly good news for MGK because he's back ahead of them. I couldn't quite tell who hit the Mercedes AMG. It was one of the back markers. I'm just trying to see who that actually was. That I think it might have been Paul Trotman that hit the back of Ahmed Aldori, but I could well be wrong. Might have been Jason Sargent, you know. I think it was Sargent that ran into him. But either way, not good to see. Freeman and Makovsky are in the pits to complete their mandatory stops now. Freeman has done his stop. We leave in the pits roundabout now. And he's about to go down a lap on the leader, I think, as Moritz goes through. Sean Cole is down to 8th position because Aldori, I think, is going to be coming into the pitch shortly, which he has done. So twisting a title race with the two championship contenders colliding with each other at Stowe Corner. That's going to give Melvin Crows the encouragement he needs. Fireblade is up there in 9th place now, closing on Cole. So Andy Craven is under threat. See which car is Andy in? I think he's in the light blue BMW 16. Now Aldori should rejoin in some clean air, but that mistake he made with Sean Cole has lost him time. May need some repair work done as well, which will cost it. Oh, Morris is off! Morris has spun! Morris has spun at Village! And that hands the lead out surely over to Bruno Canavera, and Bruno Canavera cannot believe it! He's into the lead! What a terrible mistake by Mauro Arsenio, leading comfortably, and then a small error as he came into Village. It seems to be the weather is taking its toll on some of the drivers. Fighter goes up to 2nd place. And MGK, I think, is struggling because it looks like Van der Waal has got in front of him now also. So Van der Waal up to 4th place in the Audi. He's absolutely flying in these conditions. And we've had a spin also involving the 420. That would be Small Hand is spun on the Wellington straight, but has continued. So Bruno Canavera, despite taking the lead briefly, has decided to make his switch for tyres. I think because of the weather deteriorating, he may need to go on the full wet tyres for these conditions. It doesn't look like the conditions are going to be improving in the next 15 minutes. So it's Fighter, Kobe Alerts in the race lead. Morris will go back into 2nd place. And it's Van der Waal up to P3, MGK 4th, Hutchinson 5th, and it's Fireblade, Andy and Rui in the top 8. Sean Cole is in the pits. So Aldori's dropped behind Nikola Busov and Niels Van Lyck, so I would expect Sean Cole to rejoin behind Aldori, but I could well be wrong. Approaching the halfway point in this race now. So much has happened. It could get even better as Fighter gets past what looks like Kamil Makovsky, I believe, to lap him. Makovsky has not had the best of races so far, I don't think. Still time to change, of course. Small Hand is in the pits. Now, can Kobe Alerts pick up an unlikely victory here? It's very much on now. The battle for the win is very much on. Now, going into this race, Kobe sits in 8th. He has missed a race this season, which would have been at Suzuka, but the last couple of races have been more respectable by his standards. He's yet to be on the podium. Came into this round 65 points off the top, which could be reduced heavily if Sean Cole and Ahmed Aldori continue to have their own melodies in this race. Starting his 14th lap. Still all to play for. MGK and Hutchinson are both in, as is Ferreira. Seen Anderson coming through in the 888. He's not come into the pits. Neither has Cameron Blair. This dude is also continuing on. Last driver who is yet to stop in this race. So once the sectors have picked up, oh, and Fighter seems to have had an issue on the exit of Club Corner. I don't know if he accidentally activated his ignition switch or something, but he didn't go as quick as he would normally do, and that's not a good thing. I don't know what was going on there involving Fighter. It doesn't seem to be having any issues in terms of what's going on his dash. Seems to have got away with one. Gap between him and Morris has come down by a couple of seconds. So Cameron Rossi runs wide on the exit of Aintree. Towards the halfway point now. Fourteen laps have been completed. And Morris is coming for his stop. That will promote Van der Waal. Although he's coming in at the same time, Fireblade will go up into second position. Now where will Morris rejoin in comparison to Bruno Canavera? I think Canavera is going to get an undercut completed on him. GK stuck behind Hutchison in the fight for 10th place on track. Adam Anderson is also in for a change of tyres. Sean Cole runs wide on the exit of Aintree on the Wellington Straight. Busov running there in 13th place on track, but the positions will change shortly once the pit stops are all done. Bruno Canavero will move in front of Morex, and I think Will Freeman has gone back into the pits. I think he's had an error somewhere. So his race could well all be over for him tonight. Morex has rejoined the track, but he's behind Bruno now in terms of the battle for the lead. But at least he's ahead of Hutchinson, so Morex could well be in second place unless Fighter can pull out a gap, enough of a gap to keep hold of the race lead. The orders, the positions to update as we speak. And where is Fighter? He's coming round now. Is this going to be a pit stop for him here? No, it's carrying on for now. What a race from Fireblade, it has to be said. He's only just under 15 seconds off the lead. His racecraft has been excellent. Sorry, moved in front of Propizzle. I think Anderson's dropped back after his pit stop. He's down in 19th place now. Freeman has still not rejoined the race yet. Jason Sargent's gone through ahead of him. So Will Freeman's needs to rejoin the race. He'll be down in 27th, but I think he'll feel that his race is all but done. That's Andy coming in from third position. Just 4 drivers have yet to complete their mandatory stops in this race. Blair's gone up into P3, Isteed will go up into P4. Number 16 of Craven exiting the pits now. Where has he rejoined Craven? Let's have a look and see. He's not too far back, so he's done very well to get himself up to where he is. We'll wait for the sectors to update. Fighter is under threat actually from Mikowski, who's trying to unlap himself. So Fighter's not going very, very quick here, if I'm honest. So that Craig Law is running in 20th place as Fighter comes in from the lead. This is an important one. Fireblade stay out, or will he decide to make his way into the pits at the same time? The answer to that question is that he is coming in. The end of lap 16. Could well see Cameron Blair going into the lead. No, he's also coming in, so what about Isu? Could he have a lap at the front? He's got the net race leader of Bruno coming up behind. But no, he's also heading for the pits. So Bruno will take back the lead of the race. Fighter is still in his box at the moment, so Morix will take over second place. GK is coming round as well. And I think Fighter's going to rejoin in front of MGK. He's exiting the pits already, so Fighter rejoins in third place behind Canavera and Arsenio. Everyone has done their stops now. If anyone's going to make up any positions, it'll have to be done on the circuit. Fireblade has rejoined the race. Not seen which position he's ended up in yet though, but it's a positive position for him. But he has lost a number of places because of him coming into the pits. So we'll find out when the sector times do update. He's got the number, I think he's got Nils Van Lyck right behind him. Well, Van Lyck is in 12th place, Fireblade in 11th. So Canavera's lead is nearly 6 seconds over Morix. Train seems to be sticking around until the end of the race. So we see a drastic improvement. GK in 4th position. Now, if the race was to end as it is now, Sean Cole, who's running in 9th position, as Van der Werf seems to have got past Hutchinson for 5th place. Sean Cole was to finish in 9th in this one. He would collect 24 championship points, which would move his total onto 168, with Aldori finishing 13th. He would collect 18. So the gap between those two would increase from 10 to 16. Melvin Kroes is running in P3 and holds the points for the fastest lap. He'd collect 38 points and move on to 156. So it would be 2 points behind Aldori and 18 behind Sean Cole at the top. Bruno Canavera was to win this race, would move on to 121 points, going in front of Lewis Robinson. With Morix finishing second in this one, he'd move on to 152, and with Busov in 7th place, he would go on to 142. So Mario Seni would move in front of Busov. Canavera would move into 6th place ahead of Robinson. But I think Sean Cole has got past Rui now for 8th position on the Hangar Straight. Rui trying to fight back. Going into Club Corner, needs to be careful not to run into the rear of the Mercedes AMG. but that changes the championship a little bit because Aldori has got through, and that's the why. Fighter has had an incident somewhere and he's lost third position. So whilst I've been looking at the championship permutations and the potential championship standings, Fighter has had an absolute nightmare on the last lap. So from third place, he's down to 20th. What on earth has happened there? He's been in the pits. He's been in the pits, and I wondered, did he have damage to his car? I think he might have had damage to his car. Absolute nightmare for Fighter. We did have his issues on the exit of Club Corner before, like a number of laps ago, and now he's dropped well down the field to 21st position. What a shame. So Schonkel didn't make that position up on Rui. He was already ahead of him. Yeah, this is not good for Fighter at all after the hard work he has done in this race. And we seem to have lost another driver from this race as well. Don't know who that is though. And we seem to have lost another one. Strangely. Don't know who that was. And I can tell you, in terms of who's gone missing, that would be, is it Rui that's gone missing? I think Rui's gone. Yeah, Rui's gone missing. Fernando Ferreira's gone missing. So he's lost connection. That is a terrible shame. Mikossi has come back into the pits in the 174 Aston Martin. So, yeah, it's a shame we're seeing some of these connection issues return again for the drivers, which is very annoying to see. That doesn't seem to be affecting Canavera at the moment. He's 5.4 seconds clear over Morex with 18 minutes remaining. So probably around about 9 laps to go, including this one. That moves Fireblade up to 8th place now because Sean Cole has dropped back. He's not having the best of races, is Cole, unfortunately. And Nils Van Lyck is right on his tail, and so is his championship rival Ahmed Al-Douri. And you can see Van Lyck getting alongside the Mercedes, and I think Cole is struggling, to be honest with you. That's Van Lyck getting past, and he's got through into 9th position. Al-Douri. Now, this is a very interesting one to look out for. Can he get a good exit out of Beckett's and pull alongside his championship rival and make a move? Onto the hanger straight they go. And how much of a fight is Kull going to fend? How much of a fight is he going to do here? He's fighting it. I think it's a matter of time before Al-Douri does get past. Up the inside he goes, does Al-Douri, but Kull is having none of it. And Al-Douri looking to get a good exit here, and Kull didn't get the best of exit Club Corner, and Al-Douri's through! Al-Douri has got past the championship leader, up into 10th place. An important move in the race for the championship. Now, Sean Cole's got 14 seconds in hand over Cameron Blair in 12th, so he'll probably want to just take it easy in the remaining laps of this race. Yeah, it was an important move for Aldor. He got the move done, but he needs to do more than what he's already done. He needs to move up a few more positions to reduce the deficit to Sean Cull in the title race. So Sean Cull down to 11th now. He'll be collecting 20 points from this. Aldor will be collecting 22. So what was a 10-point lead going into this race, that'll be down to 8. Moritz collecting 38 points for finishing second at the moment. He'll be on 142. So he will be 14 points behind Aldor. No, he's not. No, he won't be. He'll be 4 points behind Aldor and 12 behind Cull, who is the championship leader. Melvin Crows will be collecting 38 points in this race as well. He'll be moving on to 156, and in fact he'll be tied with Aldor, but with Crows on the same number of points. Crows will be ahead on countback. The championship is very much hotting up, although Moritz is closing down the gap on Bruno in the fight for the race win. Less than 15 minutes to go. Rui's back in the lobby now, although out of sync the rest of the pack. Freeman's rejoined the race, I think, also, has he? No, he hasn't. No, so I think Freeman's done for this race. Craig Law is running in 15th position. Lawrence Robinson in 16th. I think that Blair is closing on Cull. The gap was 12 seconds in sector 1. What's the gap now through sector 2? The answer is 11.1. So he's catching all the time, but has he got enough time to make a move? I can tell you that Niels van Lyck and Aldor had a battle, and Aldori's got past Niels. So Aldor moves up into 9th position, and another couple of points to close down the gap between him and Sean Cull. Next man ahead of him is Fireblade in 8th. Definitely got enough time to catch him. And after Fireblade, it'll be Busov, who's another 3 seconds up the road. One driver will be very happy at the moment is Damian van der Waal, currently in 4th place, who started 26th on the grid after a quali ban in relation to an incident in the last race at Snetterton 7 days ago. He has had a tremendous race. If I was to choose my driver of the day, it would probably go to him because he's been excellent. Cull is continuing to drop back in the Aldor Niels van Lyck battle, and you can tell you that Blair has got the gap down to less than 10 seconds through sector 1. I think he's taking on average about a couple of seconds a lap out of the margin, and I don't think that's going to be enough for Sean Cull to hold on, so he's going to have to do his best here. Now the difference between finishing 11th and 12th is a championship point, but every point does count towards the championship. Now, if Blair does get past Cull, has Cull got enough of a margin over 13th placeman Vaglav Bavissel? Just needs to keep his car on the track. (911) of Rui hasn't returned to the track yet, so I think that could well be his race over, unfortunately, which is a terrible shame. Gap between Canavera and Moritz has come down to 4 seconds at the end of the last lap. 6 laps to go in this race. Hudson 1.3 behind Van der Waal in the battle for 4th position. Aldori closing in a little bit on Fireblade, but I'm not sure if he has enough time to make a move. Blair is 8.5 seconds behind Cull in Sector 2. Can he get it under 8 seconds by the end of this lap? The answer to that question is not quite, but he is closing down more. So we're taking more out of Sean Cull's margin. Through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel he comes. There's a battle raging between Ben Milden, Craig Law and Lewis Robinson for 14th position respectively. They could get into the fray of passing Sean Cull in the final lap or so. Gap between Cull and Blair has come down to 7.7 seconds as we watch Law make a move on Milden as they go through Stowe. And now Robinson looks to fancy his chances with the man from Northern Ireland trying to get past for 15th position. Ben Milden, the Englishman, holding on to 14th. And the gap between Cull and Blair was 7.7 through Sector 1. What's the gap now through Sector 2? The answer to that question is 7.6. So it was only a little bit through Sector 2 alone that Blair was able to close down the gap on Cull. Aldori 4.1 behind Fireblade. And because Fireblade's closing on Boussoff now. What a race Fireblade has had in this race as well. Hats off to him. I can say that Moritz has got the gap down. 2.7 in Sector 1 between him and Bruno Canavera. MJ is another 3 seconds back. The battle for the win is back on. And the gap between Cull and Blair has gone back up a little bit to 7.7. Has Blair taken too much life out of the tyres during his pursuit? Cull is going through Sector 1 now. Blair is about to do the same. Don't expect the gap to change too much. It's 7.2, so Blair was able to take half a second out of Cull in that sector alone, as Robinson tries to make a move on Law again into Stowe corner, but to no avail. But he looks to the outside, has to lift off the throttle to avoid contact. Law goes off the track, rejoins. Not had anyone get penalised for track limits in this race yet. We've had a stop-go penalty for Jason Sargent for his for speeding in the pit lane earlier on. So the gap between Canavera and Moritz has come down to 2 seconds. 4 laps to go. Catching is one thing, passing is quite another. It's an old cliche, but Moritz has almost got part 1 of the job done. But can he make a move on the fellow Audi ahead? Go down the hangar straight. Just want to look back on the battle for 7th place between Boussoff and Fireblade, and Aldori is closing in on these two as well. That one is going to go right to the end most certainly. Boussoff having to defend his line, didn't get the best of exits coming out of Copse, and Fireblade is trying to take advantage of the Croatian's mishap. He's going to have to try and make the move very soon because he's got Aldori looming in behind, and the more Fireblade gets stuck behind, the closer Aldori will get. The gap between Cull and Blair has come down to 5.3 seconds at the end of the last lap. The gap between Bruno and Moritz 1.7 through sector 1. And MGK is closing all the time as well. This could be a three-way fight for the lead in the final few laps here at Silverstone. Now, how is Fireblade getting on? Still behind Busov. Aldori's less than a second behind the McLaren. Leo's got the gap down to 4.7 between him and Cole through sector 1. 1.8 is the gap between Bruno and Moritz, and MGK is less than 4 seconds behind the race leader now. Change there at the moment. Just want to see what the gap is between Sean Cole in 11th place and Cameron Blair in 12th. It's definitely going to be less than 4.7 by sector 2. How close is Blair behind now? I would say it could be even less than 4 seconds even. Let's have a look. It's 3.7. He's able to take a second out on that last sector alone. The gap between the top 3 has come down to less than 3.5 seconds with 3 laps to go. Busov holding on ahead of Fireblade for 7th place. Aldori's not able to find a way through yet. And that's Cool coming over the line. It was 3.7 at the previous sector. It is now 3.3. And the gap between Bruno and Moritz has come down to 1.4 seconds. And are they coming up to any back markers? Not at the moment, so they should be back marker free to the checker flag. Terrific race we have seen here at Silverstone, and it's not over yet. And MGK is closing on Moritz at the same time, and the leader. It's getting very intense now. And Fireblade is under threat from Aldori. He's trying to make a move as they come out of Village. Does he go for it? Not quite so yet. And Cole and Blair's gap is 2.9 through sector 1. The gap between Bruno and Moritz is 1.2. MGK another 8 tenths back. 2 seconds separating the top 3 on the penultimate lap, but MGK's gone off the track at Cops Corner. That's going to lose him time. That will lose him time for sure. He's quite lucky actually, he didn't get penalised for track limits, but that's his chances of the race victory gone. Canavera just managing the gap for the time being. And it looks like Aldori's got in front of Busov and Fireblade now. So Aldori has got in front of both of them in that last sector. We didn't see the overtake, but it's an important couple of overtakes to Aldori for the sake of the championship. Up to 7th place he goes. Gap between Sean Cole and Cameron Blair has come down to 1.3 in the last sector. Oh, it's less than that now. It's 7 tenths. 2 laps remaining. Blair has got time to make a move. Want to go back to the top 2 because Moritz is very close now. He's very close to Canavera. He's only got 1.5 laps to make his move. Nine cents it is still, but you don't really need the gap to know how far they are from each other, because they are both right in your picture. And Blair has got the gap down to 2 tenths. He could well make an overtake on Sean Cole here as they come towards Vale. Thinks about it as Blair just wants to hold back for now, But the race leaders are about to start their final lap of the race. Can Bruno Canavera take his first win of the season? Mauro Arsenio hasn't won the season yet either. He won last season. He was so desperately want to get his championship back on track with a victory here at Silverstone, but he won't want to risk a couple of points. And it looks like Craven's closing on Hutchison in the fight for 5th position as well. And looking further back, Sean Cole is still ahead of Cameron Blair. Papizzle is closing in on these two as well, but I think he's too far back to challenge from there. Half a second is the gap between Moritz and Canavera. Moritz pushing very hard, running wide at Stowe. Canavera holding his nerve for the time being. He's got half a lap to hold on for his first victory in Taco Tuesday. The time has elapsed. Everyone's have already done their stops, so no one's going to get penalised afterwards. As we watch Moritz try to make a move on Canavera as they come towards Village. Canavera taking the right lines. This could well be the last overtaking point on the circuit. It is the Wellington Straight, so we ride on board with Moritz out of the loop. Onto the Wellington Straight they come. Canavera is too far in front for Moritz to make a challenge now. It's been a brilliant duel between the top two from Portugal, but it's Bruno Canavera who's going to come out on top here at the Northamptonshire circuit of Silverstone. They come through Luffield for the last time, through the kink of Woodcote for the last time. It is the number 46 Audi. Bruno Canavera wins at Silverstone in Taco Tuesday in the Formula Racing League. Moritz 0.7 of a second behind at the line. MGK on the podium again in 3rd place. We'll go to Damien van der Wal from the back of the grid up to 4th place. What a drive from him. Wonderful drive. Crosses over the line. Stuart Hutchison will be happy with 5th place on home turf. Andy Craven 6th, with Ahmed El Dowie up in 7th place. Sean Cole, what's going on with him? Because he's battling out with Cameron Blair right to the end. Cameron Blair is almost going side by side with him. Cole runs wide on the Wellington Straight. He's lost out to the Bentley. That's another championship point gone. It could get even worse because Farclub Papizzle is right on the tail of the championship leader. Now Cole just needs to hold his nerve through the last few corners and he won't lose any more championship points from here. Blair will finish in 10th place, but Sean Cole is going to finish behind him. He's got Farclub Papizzle, Lewis Robinson, Ben Milden and Craig Law harassing him to the flag, but Sean Cole will hold on to 11th place, and Farclub Papizzle just beating Lewis Robinson to the line. Ben Milden and Craig Law will be 14th and 15th. Kobe Alerts will be disappointed with 16th after having to get an extra pit stop done. Paul Trotman will be 17th ahead of Ice Dude and Smallhand. Moggs will be the last driver on the lead lap. But there is your race winner. It is Bruno Canavera at Silverstone on Taco Tuesday. Moritz makes it a 1-2 for Portugal, with MGK coming in 3rd place. We're just waiting for the classification to come up very shortly because Moggs has yet to cross over the line. We'll go to the results now. So Bruno wins ahead of Moritz. It's Melvin Crows in 3rd place, Damien van der Wal in an excellent 4th, Stuart Hutchison 5th, Andy Craven in 6th place ahead of Ahmed El Dowie, Fireblade 8th, his best result of the season so far, with Nikola Busov and Niels van Lyck rounding out the top 10. Cameron Blair was 11th ahead of Sean Cole, who fell down to 12th. Farclub Papizzle 13th, and it's Lewis Robinson, Ben Milden and Craig Law. Kobe Lights will be 17th ahead of Paul Trotman and Ice Dude. Smallhand and Moggs were the last drivers on the lead lap. Josh Clayton down lap in 22nd, but at least he picks up points. Cameron McCoskey in a shocking 23rd place ahead of Jason Sargent, I should say, with Rui, Adam Anderson and Will Freeman failing to finish. I'm going to take the time to work out how many points each driver has picked up from that race, because it is a huge turn in the title race, it has to be said. Sean Cole collecting 19 points, he moves on to 163. Armin Aldori, by finishing 7th, he moves on to from 134 to 162. So the gap at the top is down to 2 points between those two. But wait a moment, because Melvin Krause picks up 38 points for finishing 3rd and getting fastest lap. He is on to 156 points. Mauro Arsenio, by finishing 2nd, he's also getting 38 points. He moves on to 152. Bruno Canavera, by winning today's race, he moves on to 121. Nikola Busov, by finishing in 9th, collecting 24 points. He goes on to 138. So what I will say is the gap between the top 4 in the championship race has come down to just 11 points. A lot closer than it was at the beginning of the night. The points will update on the SimGrid website in due course. There may be a few post-race penalties or post-race investigations to come. But that was a brilliant race to watch. A few mistakes, but the drivers have coped well in the wet conditions. And they'll be hoping for more to come. The next round will be even more challenging, because not only is it a 90-minute special, it's on the mountains of Mount Panorama in Bathurst. So that'll be an exciting one to watch. Do make sure you tune in for them, because I'm sure it'll be a belter. Do make sure you like and subscribe in case you haven't already done so. And do feel to check out all the other championships that the Formula Racing League has to offer. And do make sure you follow on Facebook and Instagram in case you haven't already done so. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching us, and we'll do it again next week. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.